Here at Quanta Services, we have a world-class safety program. At least that's what we believed, that's what we said, and that's what we showed in our metrics. You see, we would get to the end of the month, the end of the quarter, and even better, the end of the year. And we would be proud of our metrics. They were world-class, although I don't know what world-class means. They were industry leading. But seemingly, the very next day, after we would report those numbers, we'd have a significant event, a life-altering, a life-threatening, or a life-ending event. Are all of our employees human beings? And she said, "Oh, Matt, come on." I was like, we worked together now for a while, so she's kind of used to my sarcasm. I said, "Kim, I need to know the answer to this question." And by this time, she'd made her way back into her home office, the kitchen table, and she put me on speaker. I was like, "Kim, we got 55,000 employees around the globe. Are we paying anybody that's not a human being?" And she went to work. I mean, there was paper shuffling. She's pounding the keyboard. I can hear all this going on in the background. And it only took like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. She's a rock star, right? She came back and she said, "I checked all 55,000 records." Come to find out, we only employ human beings. I said, "Thank you, Kim. That's all I needed to know." I hung up the phone, and we were off to change the way we do safety. All 55,000 of us, and all of us in this room, we have one thing in common. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. I'm like 6 or 7 in already this morning. I don't know about you. I screw stuff up all the time. So why is it when a mistake happens and someone gets hurt, we're surprised or even mad? Why is that? Well, it's because we expect perfection, but perfection's not reality. We all know that we're going to make mistakes. Perfection's not reality. We have to go through a paradigm shift. We have to understand it's not if, it's when. It's not if our employees screw it up, it's when they screw it up. The thing that we got to realize is the absence of injuries does not mean the presence of safety. Absence of injuries does not mean the presence of safety. And we know this because we're still having incidents. And you go back to the 1960s here in the U.S., far too many Americans were getting hurt, maimed, and killed in the workplace. So the government stepped in, right? And within just a little bit of time, they formed the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, the ones that we love so much, right? And within a short bit of time, we had rules-based safety, and it had an effect. Incidents came down, fatalities came down, but they didn't go away. Fast forward 20, 30 years, here comes behavioral-based safety. With behavioral-based safety, we're trying to fix the employee. Now, I think we can influence employee and influence behavior, but fix a human being? I don't think we're going to fix a human being. So rules-based safety and behavioral-based safety, in my opinion, played key roles to get us to where we are today. But they can't get us all the way. Why is that? Because we can't legislate failure out of work. I can't write a new rule and expect never to have that problem again. Nor can I eliminate error out of human beings. So I live in Houston, Texas, I live in the Woodlands, just north of Houston. Has anybody in the room ever driven in Houston? Oh yeah, it's fun, isn't it? So how I drive to work. I get on 45 South, I take it all the way to 610 West, I get off on Hidalgo exit, and I pull into the parking garage. How many times do you think that happens? Almost never, right? So what happens? I get on 45 South, Waze pops up and says there's a wreck at 1960. No problem, I'll jump on the Hardy Toll Road. I take the Hardy Toll Road down to 610 West. If anybody's familiar with the Houston transit system or the Houston highway system, Where 610 West goes underneath 45, it goes from 25 lanes to 2. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So traffic's backing up. So I safely go across 25 lanes of traffic. I take a left-hand exit. I get on 45 South again. I take 45 South to 10 West, take 10 West to 610 South. I take the Hidalgo exit, and I pull into the parking garage. Anything wrong with what I just did? No, there's nothing wrong with what I did. I'm in good equipment. I'm trained better than anybody else in the world to drive from my driveway to my parking spot. Nobody's trained better on that route than me, right? And I got rewarded. You see, I got to work the same time our CEO got to work. I was able to park his car. I carried his bag up to his office. I got him his first cup of coffee. He said I put too much sugar in it because he's kind of grouchy. But I got FaceTime with our CEO. I got rewarded for doing the blue line. It's a reward. Our employees in the field, just like me, are highly trained. They're probably trained better today than they've ever been trained in their careers, in our history of our industry. And they operate in a dynamic work environment. Constant changes coming at them every day, right? And they get rewarded too. Maybe they got back to the show up before traffic got bad. Maybe they got a pat on the back for being under budget. Maybe they got a financial bonus, I don't know, but they get rewarded too for managing that dynamic work, that blue line, each and every day. And it's all good, and we expect them to do it. And they're extremely good at doing it. However, as soon as someone gets hurt, we immediately change our response, right? So what do? Name, blame, shame, and retrain. And what we're really good at is writing a new safety rule. We got to change our focus. It's not who drove the failure, it's what drove the failure. We have to switch from who to what. Prevention will always be at our foundation. We never want to have the event. We're always going to try to prevent it. But we must plan and execute work as if failure is going to happen today. So as we started building the capacity model and what we'll get into next, these are our North Stars. You'll see up here, we can't expect different results using the same approach. Our CEO tells me this all the time. We can't do what we've done for the last 50 years and think we're going to eliminate significant events. We did a good job over the last 50 years driving down TRIR, but we haven't done so great at eliminating. We have to change what we're doing. We need to build a sustainable system integrated over time. No more is this just a PowerPoint presentation that I stand up at 7 in the morning at the bed of the truck or at the conference room or at the monthly safety meeting, roll out 10 slides and say, human performance is out there. It has to be a sustainable system. You have to have soak time. You have to allow your employees to do a paradigm shift just like our management team did. We can't build check-the-box training. It has to have adult curriculum writers behind it, learning concepts. It has to be how adults learn. I've done a lot of training in my life. I thought I was good at it. Once I figured out what adult education really was and how to deliver it, I'm horrible at it. We need to build an approach that's practical, meaningful, and consumable. And I say the word consumable a lot. If you've heard me talk before, everything that we do has to be consumable at the front line level. If I do anything that's not consumable, and I mean anything that's not consumable at the front line level, and I don't care if I'm talking to the board of directors or I'm talking to a new apprentice, if it's not consumable at the front line employee level, I need to stop doing it. We can't abandon accountability and prevention methods or measures. We're not getting rid of accountability. We're getting better at it. We're putting accountability where it should be. Why is the system failure? That's where accountability has to be. And we continue to try to prevent the release of energy. When energy is released, it's a bad day. But we believe we can have an operational upset without changing our life. And we need to accept human beings are going to make mistakes, but failures can occur